Welcome to the Started Up podcast. Everything you need to know about starting, building, and innovating. Ready to go further? Let's start it up. So, hi Fadhil, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Started Up. It's really a nice pleasure to have you to share your experience about your entrepreneurial journey and so on. So I want you to just give us a short introduction about Deluxe. What is Deluxe? And just tell us more about Deluxe.
Okay, so I love the opportunity to speak about Deluxe. So Deluxe is a company that develops biodecontamination devices. So it was founded here in Lisbon, in the Faculty of Science at the University of Lisbon. Me and my two former professors, former master thesis advisors, now my colleagues, they are the brains behind this idea. And what we developed was basically a solid formulation of hydrogen peroxide. And what we do with it is that we use it to develop a set of new biodecontamination devices that are affordable, they are highly efficient, and we have some other advantages that I think that's not the place for here. But it's an interesting project also, I believe, and I think that we can do very good for the people and for the community. And since we have now a pandemic fortunately it's almost over, I believe it's a good timing for a project like this.
That sounds very interesting. So that's like deep tech. Like it's really, really interesting and quite exciting. And the big question is that, it sounds really very complex, obviously, like a researcher and scientist like you. And the question is like, what motivated you to do this? For obviously, I imagine you were doing some research, but what motivated you to want to start this into a company? I mean,
I think that the answer is not so glamorous as it would, as someone would expect. But actually, I think that it was like 10%. I'm a reluctant entrepreneur.
Okay.
So 10% was like laziness, because I was doing this project. So I was doing a master thesis, as I said, and we started a program that it was called Tech. And back then, when I started it, my idea was just to have something on my resume. So I wasn't really into that. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to start a company and I'm going to be rich. Not at all.
Yeah.
So the idea there was just, okay, let's see where this is going. And I think that the real motivation was a very personal belief that if I wouldn't do it, somebody else would.
Yeah.
And I had some fear of missing out.
Yeah.
Because Fernando and Joan, they were up to go. They wanted to do this, and I was developing and I was doing the research and I was doing the program, and a part of me started thinking, I think this is also mine.
Yeah.
I feel that I could do something here.
Yeah.
And if I leave now and if I just try to find something else, and I wanted to do a PhD back then, and if I just do this some other thing, I will lose this opportunity. And I already put my effort, and I think that I can actually do something.
Yeah.
And so I think it was that. It was fear of missing out, most of it. Like, I don't want any other person doing what I'm able to do. So if I don't want anyone else to do it, well, then it should be me. So I think that was the motivation. It's not a very, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur.
No, but actually,
sorry to disappoint.
No. I actually love that answer because, many people will be like, oh, I had this dream when I was a kid, I wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I feel like it was so honest, so genuine, like I just didn't want to miss out, and I think that's really, really cool. And I think that also passes a good message to audiences that there is no one pathway to becoming an entrepreneur. You just have to find what makes you want to be an entrepreneur, and you do it, right? And so you mentioned how you started as a researcher. Now, you're in the helm of running the company, and now doing amazing things, because I know some of your track record. You're raising capital. You're doing a lot of amazing things. So that has been quite a journey from that moment to there. What are some of the big surprises you had, like from that becoming a researcher, no fear of missing that, and now that
surprises? So
or surprises, challenges. I don't know, because it has been an interesting story. Because I don't know.
No, I mean when I started this, I had zero experience, and I think that I have just a little above zero.
Yeah.
So I think every day is a challenge. It's a very cliche, but everything is a challenge, because when you start as an entrepreneur, there is not a course on entrepreneurship. So I studied biochemistry.
Yeah.
So I knew a lot about biochemistry. Not anymore, but I knew a lot about biochemistry. But I didn't have the opportunity to learn about entrepreneurship. So I had that program, and that taught me well. But that only taught me how to start.
Yeah.
And so every day, everything is a challenge. Everything is a surprise. It's like, okay, so what's supposed to do for a fundraising? I have no idea.
Yeah.
So to start speaking with investors, I had to learn about speaking with investors. So that would be a challenge, and I had to learn about building a product. So that's a challenge. That's a surprise. Everything is a surprise. Everything is a challenge. And I think that I would say that the biggest challenge is exactly that, because we never know the day after tomorrow. We are in a phase. So this is the first time I'm fundraising. Not, but I'm giving an example. But this is the first time I'm fundraising. So I have to learn everything about fundraising. I have no idea where to start. Everything is a challenge.
Yeah.
The next day, I already did my fundraising. Now the challenge is something different, radically different.
Yeah.
And so I have to learn all about certification.
Yeah.
And so then I have to learn all about patents.
Yeah.
And so that's I think that's the difficulty. It's that we are always learning, and we have to learn a lot, and sometimes about things that were not familiar. So we're fundraising. We closed the funding round very.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I think that my last months I was learning to be a lawyer. That's basically what I did for my past months, and so biochemistry, legal, So yeah. The challenge is exactly that, to learn every day.
That's interesting. So, looking at knowing what you know now, because like it almost feels like I really like your story, because it feels like you're just like chilling, and you had the fear of missing out, and you're like, I'm going to do this thing, and then you've been doing it right now. So the question is that, knowing what you know now, if you were to go back, would you be like, I'm not going to do that anymore, I'm just going to
I always say that when things are very, very bad, I'm telling to myself, why did I have this stupid idea? Why did I just do anything different? But no, I think that if I knew what I know today, I would do exactly the same, and I would be faster. In taking that decision. It took me some time, and Fernando is my colleague, and he had to convince me somewhere around the process. He had to convince me to do this, and I think I was a bit fearful of what would be this project and what would end, but I was also giving out on another thing that I wanted, that was doing the PhD. And with what I know right now, I would go back to that Fadhil like 5 years ago or 6, I don't even remember. And I would just say, just do this.
Just do it.
Just do it, like Nike. I would I would probably, so I think I wouldn't do different. I would do exactly the same, but just better.
That's amazing. So obviously, I just focusing still on your journey. Obviously, you talked about how there are so many challenges. I want to talk about maybe some of the best things that have happened. Now, I know one of the things you said is that you learned a lot of things like this. So through this journey, what would you say some of the say the more positive things, other than the challenges and the different things, but I'm sure there were some highlights, for example, in this journey. As you said, you wouldn't change anything. So obviously, I would say you there's some things you really, really liked.
Okay, highlights. I think actually today I'm here, and one of the highlights was actually with you, with BGI. I recall the day that we finished there was many highlights, but since we're here, I think that's a good highlight to point it out. The day that we finished the first boot camp, and there was a pitch competition, and we won it.
Yes, and, I remember.
And that was a very good feeling for a lot of reasons. So it was a validation of the path I had taken. So that decision was like 1 year ago. 1 year before that day. And it was a tough year, I'm not going to lie, because we didn't have funding, we didn't have anything. We were really on the very, very early stage. We didn't have a company, and I remember that we were the only startup who wasn't actually a startup. And so it's not that we had like a feeling of inferiority or something like that, but we we were aware that we were the least advanced
We
company
were like the
there.
underdog there.
Exactly,
Yeah.
we were like the underdog, and I think that it was an incredible validation to win the pitch, because it was even though we were underdeveloped company or underdeveloped project, we people would see the potential in our project, and it was good enough for us to win that competition. And so it was a fierce competition, so the other startups were very good.
It was really good. Yeah, I remember.
They were very good, and so it was a very good validation. We were not just winning a pitch competition, we were winning the pitch competition, the BGI pitch competition, and so that was a very good validation. And I recall the remainder that day, people congratulating Gonçalo from BGI, also saying that, well, giving us validation to the project, and gave us a very good compliment. And he said there was an MIT guy there. You have a lot of MIT people, and I remember Gonçalo telling him that I was MIT material, and so for the past Fadhil I was like, oh, MIT material, wonderful, that's a very good compliment. And so I remember that it was a very good validation for the project and for me and for the decision that I made. So I think that three hit it off in that day, and I would say that actually it was one of the main highlights.
That's actually really interesting, and I'm sure that obviously had a positive impact on you moving forward. And since we are speaking about accelerators, obviously you are part of the BGI Accelerator and one of the best teams within the BGI Accelerator. So obviously, at what time did you decide you wanted to join the accelerator? You know, and maybe I can have a follow-on questions that, you know, and what was the biggest takeaways, you know, from being part of the accelerator?
The first time I heard about BGI, I was in an event, and I met Sophia, and Sophia was very nice.
Shout out to Sophia Fernandez.
And Sophia was very nice. So back then, we were on a path of trying to get funds from investors, grants, whatever it was, and we were very, early stage, very in the beginning. And so back then our strategy was as simple as this. It's bootstrapping, get some funds, do some research, evolve just a little bit the project, just to see if there is any investor who believes in us and can actually put money on that project. That was basically it. We didn't have any firm ideas about business plans, business development, how we're going to move this, how many people we're going to... We had no firm ideas on anything. We only had an idea, and we were trying to evolve that idea from the scientific point of view. So, and it was the first time doing that. So we knew that we needed some help, and we knew from the beginning that we needed some contacts, network, speaking people, experts, etc., etc. And so when I spoke with Sophia, she told me about this program, about BGI, and it felt interesting, and it felt like it was a good fit with what we needed. But more than that, and this is a very personal belief, I like to work with people that I like. So I met Sophia, and I liked her very much. And then in another event, she introduced me to Gonçalo, with whom we had a very good connection. And so I told myself, okay, they may actually help building this over. And I spoke with my colleagues, Fernando and João. Eventually they met Gonçalo too, and they were very well impressed. And we thought to ourselves, okay, maybe that makes sense. Maybe this program will actually help us get somewhere. And so it was a decision basically moved on. We believe in the people that were behind BGI, and we believed that we needed help, and any help that we could get would be welcome.
Well received.
And so well received. And so we said to ourselves, okay, let's see. Worst case scenario, we just don't get anything from it. So
exactly.
What's the worst that we can do? And so actually not that, because we gave some equity to BGI, but it was very well worth it, and I think that it was definitely a good decision, and also here I am, and part of it thanks to you. So.
Yes, thank you, thank you. That's really amazing feedback about it. And I think what I really liked is that you connected with the people behind the organization, and I guess maybe that's a good way, because many times many entrepreneurs are trying to make a decision on how they should choose an accelerator, for example. Obviously you've been through it. So the question would be, for example, what would be the tips that you would give them to sort of like identify the right accelerator that is for them?
Okay. So first tip, join BGI. You're on
You
a good accelerator.
you heard it first. Join BGI.
Now, I think that the idea is find an accelerator that it's in your area and that understands your area. So we were MedTech, and we did a couple of programs before, and the BGI was focused on MedTech, and so we understood that here we would have the right connections for our area, and I think that makes a lot of sense. It's if you just go to a general accelerator, you will have general help.
Yeah.
If you want something more focused, I think it's very good to have general accelerators, because in a very early stage you know nothing about nothing.
Yeah.
So in a very early stage you need those. But eventually, when you just need to focus on your company and on what you're going to do, if it's biodecontamination, you need to find something, if not in biodecontamination, closer to biodecontamination. And the idea is, as your company progresses, you will need more focused help.
More
So
specialized
you start with the general ones, and you go and you start deepening into what you need. And so I think that's the first tip I would say is. Find focused help. If you are in a phase in which you will benefit most from more focused help, try to get an accelerator, an incubator program that is actually more to your area. That would be the first tip. And the second tip, and I say it again, this is a very personal belief. I always like to work with people that I like. And I know that it's not a very rational decision, because sometimes you may work with people that you don't like that much, and they are actually very good technical or very.
Exactly.
So I understand that, but from my point of view, I'm very easily attracted to people that I like. And my girlfriend actually says that I'm a puppy, so maybe that's just it. But the idea here is, if you like those people and if you have a good connection and you believe in those people, and that people believe in you, it will be easier to get some environment in which you will actually grow. And so I think that the second tip would be something like find people that actually believe in your project, because there is a lot of accelerators and they are always searching and scouting for projects. But it's not just that accelerator. I need that accelerator. Is also that accelerator really believes in my project? Yes or no? Because if they do, they will give you help. They will try actually to do something for you.
For sure.
If not, you're wasting time. They're wasting time. It's resources. It's I had a lot of help from people that didn't want that much to help, and sometimes it's just a waste of time for everybody. So really try to find the right people. I think that's it. And with the right people comes the right organization, of course.
I think that's really, really interesting, and I think those are really actually spot on, especially in the venture capital space, where a lot of things is relationship based. For investments as well, you need to find investors that you like, that you really work with, because it's a long-term relationship, right? Exactly. And obviously the focus up is actually really, really, really spot on. So just we round up, what is the future for Deluxe?
What is the future for Deluxe? If everything goes accordingly, this year we'll be starting commercialization.
Nice.
So we're going to end certification if everything goes accordingly this year. We're going to start production if everything goes according this year, and so probably by the end of the year you will start to see some biodecontamination machines. If not, probably not, we're going to start selling in the United States, because certification is easier to comply there, and less costs too. And so the future will be to start having biodecontamination equipment with our brand in it, and starting to do something good. That's our aim. And so the future, I would say, commercialization, and then we'll start to fundraise again, because the startup is always fundraising. And then we'll scale up. We'll start selling in Europe in the near future. We're working on the certification here already. And yeah, so commercialization, that's what we want. We want to put our equipment on the market. We want to impact people's lives. So
Yeah.
that's the future,
Yeah.
and I hope that's the future.
That is so amazing, and that's actually inspiring. I can't wait to see all the amazing things that has to come. And it's quite interesting because when you joined BGI, I also sort of relatively knew I was new at BGI,
You were?
and getting to see
I recall.
getting to see the progress of you then and right now. There's a big difference, and I'm sure as well. There's a lot of improvement that I have, or growth that I have had from then to now. So we're going to go back to is a part of this interview that's actually going to be fun. And we're going to get to know a little bit about you. It's going to be rapid questions. We have something we call the question salad, and we have a nice bunch of questions here. So you're going to pick one, you hand it over to me, I read it, and you have to answer. Whatever comes to your mind is what you have to mix your salad.
Mix the salad.
Okay, so let's see. Question
Is
one.
the universe reserved to me?
Yes, Ronaldo or Messi?
Ronaldo.
Ronaldo.
Portuguese. I have to.
You got to choose another one. Okay. Let's see. Let's see what's in here. This is quite sticky. First milk or cereal in your bowl? Do you put cereal first, then milk, or milk first, then cereal?
Let me do the process in my mind and understand. I put the milk first.
You put the milk first?
I put the milk first.
Okay,
You
good.
don't put the milk first the way you're
No, I don't. No.
please.
Okay, so you get to pick now. Okay, good. Let's see. What would you sing at a karaoke night?
Oh God. So a lot of people have heard that one. If I'm just want to, what I really like, I would go with something like Alice in Chains or something like that I really, really like Led Zeppelin. But if I'm in a really, really good mood and I just want to have fun, I know this is a podcast and I'm probably going to ask you to cut this off. But probably would be something like Toxic by Britney Spears. But I have
Really? I love.
really good mood
No,
for that.
I like Britney Spears too, and also Beyonce too. Hashtag Beyonce Fest.
Okay, not that much. It's just like my guilty pleasure.
Guilty pleasure. Okay, good. And final question: iOS or Android?
Android.
Android. Okay.
Android.
So we got Team Android here. Okay, that was really fun. We hope you enjoyed this interview. We want to say a big thank you for joining us on this special edition of Started Up podcast, and then we hope to bring you on again. To talk more about your entrepreneurial journey. Thank you so much, Fadhil.
Thank you.
So, how can people find you or get to know more about Deluxe? Where should they go to?
Deluxe.pt. Easy, and you'll find out every information about us there.
Okay. Thank you so much, Fadhil. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for listening to our podcast. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and follow us on all our social media platforms. If you'd like to know more about our programs, make sure you also visit our website at www.bgi.pt. Muito obrigado.